Hoka, Nike, Adidas, Saucony, Asics, just to name a few. These are companies that make running shoes with thick cushioning underneath.
Zero, Vibram, Lens, Vivo Barefoot. These are the companies that are on the other end of the spectrum, making more minimalist and barefoot style running shoes. And in this video, I'm going to discuss the main benefits that you get from wearing minimalist shoes.
But what exactly are the characteristics of barefoot shoes?
Minimalist shoes have four main characteristics. Firstly, the heel and the toe are both the same height, so there's no heel to toe drop. Secondly, they typically have no cushioning, and they're also very thin and flexible, so you feel everything underneath you. They also have a more wider foot-shaped toe box, allowing your toes to splay out, hence the name of this shoe company, Splay. And finally, they have no arch support here on the medial side.
Before we get into the benefits of barefoot shoes, just a quick disclaimer that many people have reported injuries and suffered from injuries from barefoot shoes, but the majority of them have occurred during the transitional period.
Let me know in the comments if you've tried barefoot shoes and what your experience was like, especially during the transition period. Transitioning is not easy on the body, especially for the lower leg and feet and ankles. So if you're considering switching to a more minimalist style shoe, do it very slowly and very carefully, and make sure that you're not doing too much too soon.
But this is not all bad news, and it actually ties in pretty nicely with the first benefit that we're going to talk about. When you transition to barefoot shoes, you're going to be putting more strain on the muscles, tendons, ligaments, and the body's going to have to build it back up. So if you transition properly, then the body's going to end up building it back stronger as you increase more load and more stresses on those tissues, which is going to make you a stronger, more efficient runner.
As well as more resilient to injuries. Increased strength is also going to make you more efficient as a runner because your feet are the platform that all the force is going through. Imagine trying to run on soft sand. Every step you take, your feet are just going to mush down into the sand, and you won't be able to get a good, efficient, powerful stride to push you forward. Contrast that with running on a firm surface where every step you take, you're able to push through that surface and produce the power and put the power through that surface to push you forward. When you wear thin, flexible shoes, your feet learn to adapt to the environment that it's landing on. This is going to help you, especially when you're fatigued in those last few miles of a marathon, as well as when you're running on trails. Your feet will be able to adapt to whatever it's landing on, potentially reducing the risk of some injuries like an ankle sprain, for example. Another reason these can help you with running on trails is that your feet, and especially the soles of your feet, are loaded with a ton of nerve endings, which can feel the surface underneath you, and you can land accordingly. When you put a lot of cushion between your feet and the ground, your feet won't be able to feel what it's landing on as well, making you less efficient and potentially increasing your risk of injury. It's kind of like, imagine a doctor doing a surgery with thick snow gloves. They won't be able to feel what they're doing.
But to be fair, you also don't want a branch or a rock wedged into your foot, so be mindful of the shoes that you pick when you're out running on the trails.
When your feet are able to feel the ground better and send up stronger signals to the brain about the positioning of the feet and in turn of the body, your body's going to know how much force it has to produce from each muscle in order to keep you upright and moving forward. And it could be a reason why people report less knee injuries running barefoot. That segues nicely into our last point, which is honestly the most interesting point, that most of the injuries reported with barefoot running are muscle injuries, for example, the calf muscle. There seems to be a decrease in bone and joint injuries, that is, after the main transitional period is over. This is because the body is changing to using more muscle for its stability instead of the bones and the joints. It's more efficient this way, but it also takes more muscular strength which takes time to build up. Stay tuned for my next video where I'm going to talk about the downsides of minimalist shoes and barefoot running. But in the meantime, check out this video right here to learn more about your foot tripod.